Thank you very much. This is at the end of a long day, and then day number 3. I'm sure you're tired, and thank you very much for coming to this session. Although this is at the end of the day, but I think we have the most interesting session of today, and so this is the title, Private Sector Initiatives on Biomass Management and Greenhouse Gas Mitigation in Agriculture. In many of the sessions previously, we have heard of greenhouse gas from agriculture. Agriculture is a big source of greenhouse gas emission and so on. And just before this session, we had a session mostly on the alternate wetting and drying technologies to reduce methane emission from rice field, and we invited government officers and so on. But the private sector is the sector which reaches to the farmers most. So without private sector, we don't have big access to farmers, and economic incentives has been discussed in many sessions, but private sector is the one which brings economic incentives to farmers to adapt to new technology and benefit from new technologies. In that sense, we are very happy to have 5 presenters from private sectors. I will go one by one, but you can see that we have many presenters from different countries. So fortunately, we have one in-person presenter today. And he is Michael Ardieta. He's a Philippine country manager of Yara. Yara is a big fertilizer company from Norway, and we can hear about Yara from Mike. Mike, please come to the stage. Thank you. Please, sorry. Please wait. Before I introduce Mike, I want to ask all the presenters online to turn on their camera so that they can come on screen. And then please put their screens on the screens, so that we can see them. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for coming in. We see you on the screen. So I will introduce each one of you later on, so please remain in front of your computer. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on the screen. Okay, Mike, please come to the stage. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see my co-presenters are also here, at least. Yeah, this afternoon I'll be talking about achieving sustainability and food security through regenerative agriculture. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay. Over the past 50 years, world population has grown from 4 billion in 1974 to 8 billion, and by 2050, this could reach 10 billion. Meanwhile, farmers in Asia and around the world have experienced longer droughts or more severe floods as a result of climate change, which puts greater pressure on our food production. And with these growing challenges, we need to transform our food production so that we are able to feed a growing global population while reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Agriculture has a major role to play in reducing global emissions. 20% of the greenhouse gas emissions come from the agriculture sector, which means that agriculture can contribute a positive and significant part in mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Yara's ambition is to help Asia and the world achieving a nature-positive food future. This means restoring our soils, cutting emissions, and improving access to healthy food. We work with smallholder farmers, those who grow the bulk of the food we consume in Asia and in developing countries, to help them adopt a more sustainable farming practices. My presentation today will focus on regenerative agriculture, which is one of the key pillars at Yara. This is a farming practice that seeks to improve productivity through optimal soil health, improve crop yields, greater resource use efficiency, be it land, water, or nutrients, or in other words, we must ensure adequate soil health for future generations and increase food production without having to clear new land. The big question we face today is how can we produce more food while emitting less greenhouse, preserving soil health, and reducing pressure on land use as well as other resources like water. Regenerative agriculture is a systematic, outcome-based approach to adapt the best sustainable farming practices that positively affect nature and climate across 5 themes, which are as follows. 1, climate neutrality. We must seek to reduce greenhouse gas emissions throughout our value chain. This means reducing direct emissions from our own businesses, indirect emissions from the energy that is used in the production and transportation, as well as indirect emissions from partners in our value chain, both upstream and downstream. Second, soil health. Applying the right nutrition and the right amount, avoid over-fertilizing, as this is not only counterproductive to crops and soil, but also leads to excess greenhouse gas being released into the atmosphere. Applying products that help lower soil acidification and salinity, applying products to improve soil structure, precise and balanced nutrient management, which helps to preserve soil fertility and soil health, prevent soil degradation, and ensure adequate soil quality in the long term. Thirdly, resource use. We have to increase crop yield by optimizing the land use, nutrient, and water use efficiency. Fourth, biodiversity. Produce more food without clearing new land. Conserve the natural habitats. We also have to improve soil health and reduce emissions and environmental impact. And lastly, the prosperity. We must ensure that farmers can earn a sustainable income. Empowering farmers with the necessary knowledge and tools can help them to better care for their land and reduce in-field emissions. Through better resource use efficiency, farmers can improve crop yield, crop quality, and crop resiliency, which subsequently helps them achieve better livelihoods. Improving crop yield and quality, resilience to stress, would mean maximizing the farmer's productivity and economic returns. Putting theory in practice. So what does regenerative agriculture look like in practice, and how it help the environment? In this final section, I will share to you some examples from Yara. Green and low carbon nitrates. Yara has developed crop nutrition with lower carbon footprint. Our nitrate-based fertilizers produced in the European Union and Norway have a carbon footprint that's more than 50% lower compared to most non-EU fertilizers, thanks to a catalytic cleaning process developed by Yara. Yara has introduced fossil-free fertilizers or green fertilizers in the European market. These fertilizers are produced using only renewable energy, which results in roughly a 90% reduction in carbon emissions compared to fertilizers made with fossil fuel or natural gas. As governments in APAC push to decarbonize their economies, and especially the agriculture sector, we are ready to work with interested partners to realize this goal. Second, specialty products. We have foliars, fertigation, biostimulants, and coatings. These specialty products help enhance crop tolerance to abiotic stress, such as extreme temperatures or droughts, improve nutrient use efficiency and water use efficiency, thus reducing in-field carbon emissions. We also have digital solutions. Digital farming helps farmers to manage their farms more efficiently so that they can optimize their fertilizer use, hence avoid over-fertilizing, and improve crop yields without having to clear new land. Yara's farm care application, which provides both agronomical knowledge and digital tools that assist farmers in monitoring and caring for their crops, as well as making more informed decisions in crop management through features like 1. Weather forecast. This is real-time local weather data and precise hourly to monthly forecasts wherein farmers can plan their activities more effectively and make timely decisions. We also have Map My Farm. This allows farmers to easily measure their field by walking around the farm. Fertilizer calculator. It eliminates guesswork and helps farmers apply the right amount, the right type of fertilizer, and the right ratio for optimal growth based on their crop type and the size of their plot. Digital leaf color chart. This allows farmers to quickly check their crop health by monitoring the green color intensity of the leaves and consequently apply the required nutrition. Yara also has Megalab. This is in Pocklington, UK. It's the soil analysis that the Megalab gives insights into the soil quality and nutrient deficiencies and subsequently enables tailor-made recommendations on proper crop management. We also have the N-Tester and the N-Sensor, wherein nitrogen measurement tools helps farmer determine how much nitrogen to apply to the crop for optimal results. And even before this digital thing, actually Yara has been rich, if I may say, in the crop and agronomic knowledge. We had always had field work where we advise farmers on the correct use of crop nutrition to avoid over-fertilizing and help them ensure optimal soil health and maximize resource use efficiency, land, water, nutrients. And these trainings also help farmers adopt best practices in crop nutrition that minimizes their carbon footprint. Lastly, yes, we are mineral fertilizers, but Yara is also in organic-based fertilizers. We are starting to produce, to promote organic fertilizers, just like in Yara, Vietnam. We are in collaboration with some poultry company, the manure poultry farm, and then we have a third party tolling that to become an organic fertilizer. With that, we help in the disposal, proper disposal of the manure and turning it into fertilizer. So, basically, thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for a very short and informative presentation. Just quick, we have 4 more presentations. We need to go quickly, but do you have any questions to Mike at this moment? If not, then we go to the, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have questions, please keep it with you. Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you very much.
Thank you. Next, so Yara is a fertilizer company in Norway, and we have another company, in this case from Pakistan. So Mr. Shahid Nantara, please come on screen. Oh, I think your presentation is on screen. Shahid, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Takashi. Can you hear me?
I think we will just hear your voice and see your presentation on screen. I think. Oh, okay. This is better.
I'm happy with that.
No. This is better. We can see you on screen too. Okay. Thank you very much. So you have about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you to the ADB for giving this opportunity. And also, I'm on holiday, Eid holiday in the village. So if you hear prayer calls or traffic, speeding motorbikes or screaming children in the background, you'll know why. So excuse that. But I'm just going to give a quick overview on the Pakistani rice. And then, so if you can just move next, so the figures to come up. Yeah. And then try to link up the role of sustainable agriculture, sustainable rice culture in Pakistan, and linking it up with GHG mitigation and biomass management. So rice essentially is the second largest export from Pakistan, and it's the second largest production as well after wheat. And the main takeaway from this slide is that essentially Pakistanis eat wheat. We produce way more rice than we eat. So it's not a food security product, and most of it gets exported. And we just, most of the basmati is consumed locally, but now for the last sort of 15 years, a lot of the production is non-basmati. Next, please. Next, yeah. So just next. Again, next, so the text comes up, please. Yeah. So just a point, oh, back. I think we missed that slide. Yeah. So just this slide is really to emphasize that Pakistani rice export or rice production is inextricably linked with basmati rice, and that's where the origin was. The origin of basmati rice. Although over the last 15, 20 years since the introduction of hybrid seeds and long grain rices from Erie, production of rice for those varieties has gone up way more, and obviously being higher in terms of productivity, the production is much higher. So almost 70% of the rice produced in Pakistan now is non-basmati. And, we are generally the cheapest sort of origin around the world, but our identity is very much linked with basmati. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the qualities and characteristics of basmati rice. Next. Next. So here's the challenges, and I know it says, challenges for basmati, but of course these apply to all the rice production in Pakistan. There's increasing demand, whether it's locally or internationally. So for instance, this year, the Indian restrictions on export, Pakistan was a big beneficiary of that. So, we've got record exports this year already. Relatively low yields in terms of even by regional standards. Farmers, again, struggling. How do they get higher incomes with increasing, input costs? And the model that we have of farming is still, they're very much linked and dependent on the middleman, where they're borrowing for inputs and finance from the middleman. And there is no emphasis on use of quality inputs. Yes, there will be some progressive farmers, but generally, because of this financial structure and their financial limitations, they're not using quality inputs. In fact, a lot of the regions, they won't even use certified seed. And of course, then we have increasing issues with labor as the landholding gets smaller. So it may be that you have, a family that has some land, and it's passed on to the male heirs. And as the landholding gets smaller, maybe, the others move to the city. One brother or cousin is left in the village who's managing the farm. So the labor is also, availability is also reduced. And then, of course, we have the post-harvest losses, which are very much linked to this, biomass management. But we have at least, I would say, 15%, 20% post-harvest losses just in terms of the harvesting, the quality of the paddy, and then the handling post the mill gate. Next. Next, please. For some reason, my screen is okay. So I can see it on the other screen. For some reason, my screen's not changing, but I think this is just on the SRP standard. I think Mike has covered, a lot of the things that the standard entails. It's similar to, the regenerative practices. There's an emphasis on, pre-planting, land in terms of land preparation, soil nutrition, water management, certified seed use.
Okay. So can you hear me? Okay, so please wait. It seems he will join. Shahid, can you hear me? Son-san, be ready to go next if it's necessary.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So while we wait for Shahid to come on, let's go to next presentation. Sorry, but we have limited time. I think we should not waste time. So we go to next, and after all the presentation, we will invite Shahid from Galaxy to come back again. So next we have another private company, Kubota company from Japan, and Kubota has special office called Carbon Neutral Business Planning Office. Now we have Miss Son online. She's going to make presentations on their new effort on the reducing greenhouse gas. So, Son-san, please start.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, ADB, give this time. My name is Sun from the Carbon Neutral Business Plan Office of Kubota Corporation's Innovation Center in Japan. Today, I'd like to introduce our initiatives to reduce methane emissions from paddy fields. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay. First, let me briefly introduce our company. Next, please. Page 2, please. Next. Okay. Thank you. Page 2. Okay, this page, thank you. This year marks the 135th anniversary of our establishment. We operate globally and had sales of over $20 billion last year. Next, please. Our company's operations are primarily segmented into two divisions, machinery and water and environment. Main products include agricultural, construction machinery, engines, iron pipes, and water treatment systems. Next, please. In 2019, the Innovation Center is established to further expand Kubota's business areas. The mission is to quickly launch new business through open innovation, and we promote collaboration with universities, research institutes, startups, and so on. Next, please. In the agricultural sector, two types of businesses to reduce greenhouse gas emissions are in our current focus. One is green energy business utilizing farmland and agricultural residues. For example, solar power generation on farmland and biomass energy creation from residues. The other is a carbon credit creation business to earn carbon credit by reducing greenhouse gases in the farmland. For example, reduction of methane gas from paddy fields. Next, please. Next, I'd like to introduce our activities in Japan. Next. The methodology of extension of mid-season drainage in paddy rice cultivation was adopted by J-Credit scheme last year. In June of the same year, Kubota's project was approved as one of the first projects registered for the methodology, and 1,723 tons CO2 carbon credits have been certified in the project. Next, please. As the project organizer, Kubota collects relevant data from contract farmers and obtain carbon credit certification of their behalf. So, Federalist farmers can participate in Kubota project and create credit without any complicated procedures or costs. Then Kubota purchases all the certified carbon credits from the farmers. Next, please. From here, I'd like to show about our activities in the Philippines. First, let me explain you about our current business in the Philippines. Kubota Philippines Inc. was established in 2011 and sells agricultural machinery such as tractors. We have an extensive sales network through the Philippines, and the tractor sales share reaches 70%. Next, please. Main products include tractors, implements, engines, combine harvesters, rice transplanters, and drones. And we interactive communications with farmers through various activities such as field test, product demonstration, and dealers conference. Kubota Philippines has been building strong relationships with farmers. Next, please. Now, we are considering starting a new business in the Philippines. The ADB, in collaboration with the government of JMACU, to develop the methodology of AWD at private JCM for the Philippines and Vietnam. And by leveraging its connection with farmers, Kubota aims to launch a carbon credit creation project in the Philippines by reducing methane in paddy fields using AWD in JCM. The concept is like the initiatives in Japan. Kubota will act as the project organizer with partners, training farmers to implement AWD, purchasing all the credits generated, and pay incentives to farmers. Next. This slide for your reference regarding AWD, and next regarding the JCM. Next page. Due to time constraints, I will omit the explanation. Next, please show the page 15. Next, page 15. Next page, please. Okay, thank you. The joint in preparation for the launch of an AWD project for private JCM in the Philippines, Kubota has been conducting joint demonstrations since last year in cooperation with Creatra and Tokyo Gas. Next, please. One of our partners, Creatra, offers CO2 reduction solutions and specializes in delivering strategies for effective utilization of energy certificates and high-quality carbon credits. Next, please. This slide shows their rich track record, as you can see. Next, please. Another partner, Tokyo Gas, is the largest city gas supplier in Japan and a Japanese integrated energy company with diverse businesses spanning electricity generation, energy retailing, and upstream LNG. Next, this is their Campus 2030 and the challenges for achieving the vision. Next, please. This picture is our demonstration site. We conducted a demonstration of AWD in 1,300 hectares of paddy fields owned by 600 farmers in Pangasinan province Luzon Island. The demonstration provides training to farmers that help increase the sophistication of agriculture, including how to select the seeds, manage soil, and implement AWD, and identifies problems and risks by reviewing measures for spreading AWD, increasing the income of farmers, and obtaining data necessary to create carbon credits. Notwithstanding the challenges and risks, previous demonstrations have proven the viability of implementing AWD in Pangasinan, with benefits such as increased yields already observed. Next, please. From now on, based on the results of joint demonstration, Kubota will work with partners to propose AWD methodology and register projects, with the aim of becoming the first project in the agricultural field to be registered in a private TCM. In addition, for the next step, Kubota will work on developing new methodologies that combine AWD with other technologies such as rice straw removal, with the aim of further contributing to GHG reductions and increasing farmers' incomes. This is all for my presentation. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Son-san, for the presentation. It is great to see that Kubota has already worked with farmers and helped them to obtain carbon credit in Japan and also trying to do so in the Philippines. So is there any quick questions to Ho? No? Okay, so as I said, we will have QA session later on. I want to just check if the Shahid has come back.
Yeah, Takashi, I'm back.
Okay, so because he is back, can you put his presentation again? Shahid, to keep you connected, maybe we ask you to turn off your camera. Okay. Then let's see if we can continue from where you left. And thank you again for coming in during your holiday season.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I think as I was saying on the SRP standard, so for us, this is what we're using to implement to a lot of these technologies that I think the other speakers are talking about as well. So, essentially the SRP standard is where there's sort of the front line where those different practices are being consolidated and being implemented on the ground. So, water management, nutrient management, although it's a very comprehensive standard and it has, it's measurable. So right from pre-planting to post-harvest technology, and I'll come to, some of the parts where it's really sort of the commercial aspect of it and where it's sort of benefiting the commercial side as well. But overall, the objective of the standard is obviously to improve productivity and resource efficiency with all these different standards. Next. So for us, we started the project and the goal was really how do we bring in sustainable practices within our supply chain? And, we had a very old relationship with a customer in the UK, Associated British Foods, their subsidiary Westmill Foods. And we decided to go into a joint program with them. And then after a year, this was sort of merged into a water productivity program. And it's continuing after that, although WAPRO is finished, but we're continuing together. So it's a joint effort. That's what I want to emphasize. And actually, after a while, we realized that it's not just an effort to make our supply chain more sustainable, but actually it's commercially it makes sense, and it's important for the long-term viability and sustainability of the business as well. So it's become a core part of our business model, and that's why we're continuing it. But the other key part in this is, I think, even as a private sector exporter working with farmers, we would not been able to do this without the pull factor. So we had a customer on the other side in Europe who demanded this, and I think we've seen this across other companies and generally within the standard, that when there is, and especially somewhere like Pakistan, where a lot of the practice in the rice sector is oriented towards the export. So, importers have a lot of leverage in this. So they sort of demanded these standards, or if they had demand for this sustainable product, that actually then was an incentive for companies like us to start doing it. We were fortunate enough to have a customer like that, and we are doing that jointly with them. And I think now in the fifth, it's been 5 years going into the sixth year. Next, please. So this is how it's been actually been done, the practices on the ground. So it's roughly about 15,000 acres at the moment, and increasing each year. So we started off with actually giving a subsidy to people through laser leveling, and this was part of the WAPRO program, which was also supported by the Swiss Development Corporation. And it wasn't common practice, and the practice in Pakistan with farmers is that you've got to keep the fields flooded, at all times. Rice is very water intensive, so you got to keep flooded. And when the soil isn't, or the ground isn't level, you can imagine it takes up even more water than their normal sort of trying to keep floods of, field flooded for 10 inches of water at any one time. So the laser leveling allowed them to, reduce that use and be more efficient with the water efficiency usage. And what we've seen is, although we've stopped that practice of the subsidy, it really became a standard within the local area. Of course, once you laser level it, you don't have to do it for the next couple of years at least. So you redo it again in about 3 years. But that became, people saw the benefits of that. Next was, certified seed. In our particular area, there are some provinces, say like the southern province in long grain, where there is just a traditional practice of using certified seed. And this is where, their use of hybrid and other seeds is also much more prevalent. But where we are, it's just a tradition, even though it's really the smallest component in terms of production cost. When it comes to farm production cost, per acre is the smallest cost. But the farmer will still save it just because he thinks, if I can save $1, why do I need to spend $1? But trying to encourage that again, also the availability is an issue. So although the government is now working, there's a big focus, even in the previous government in Pakistan, on agriculture, and they've realized the importance of agriculture within Pakistan's economy. So the seed availability is higher as well. But once farmers used it, they saw the benefits as well. So I think that we're sort of turning the dial on that, and especially now, actually. The farmer economics are changing such that there's so many different varieties. So they're going for maybe shorter duration varieties, and rather than longer, some may be more disease prevalent. So whenever they're switching, some of the larger farmers are almost going for like a portfolio approach. They may decide to split it up between 2 or 3 varieties. So if they don't have a seed that they grew last year, then invariably they have to go and source that seed. So that's also encouraging the practice of using certified seed, and that has a very direct correlation to improving, productivity. Then the other part is farm advisory. I mean, this is really key again to try to propagate and train on these services, because they don't have the capacity, they don't have the knowledge. You may get 2% progressive farmers who are more literate or educated or more well financed, but generally the others are just trying to get by. And so really trying to advise them on, and they have a lot of skepticism towards this field staff from whether it's fertilizer companies or pesticide companies XYZ, and they can be skeptical, thinking, well, they just advising us because they want to sell a product. So having someone neutral where they can have a good relationship, where there's trust, that they're much more receptive to changing their practices. But even then, farmers, I think, the same all over the world, and they're very, risk averse, and as they should be, because they're already operating in a very high risk environment. So they really have to be convinced and sure before they change their practices. And next is the mechanization, and I think this again is direct impact with the biomass management and post-harvest losses. So we're trying to the government had a program for improving mechanization use, especially rice transplanting, and this is linked with labor availability, but also improving plant populations. And there is more and more machinery available on this, and now I think this practice is building traction to mechanical transplanting. There's Kabuta, there's other machineries from other origins coming in, and now people are really, I think they're comfortable with this technology. Rice harvesting, this is really, again, a key part because smog and pollution are a big issue. Rice double burning is a big issue. Soil loss of nutrition and biomass is a big issue. And, rice specialist harvesters are a good solution for this. And until there is enough of them to go around, unfortunately, the problem is that the model of mechanization provision in Pakistan is more of a service provider model. So you have small service providers who provide in their local area and to other farmers. So whether that's harvesting, whether that's mechanization services, and generally they've been really based on wheat. So their wheat harvest is converted to, rice. And when they go towards a service provider model, having this high purchased, brand new machines are not viable because you have this short window of just for rice harvesting. So they've always gone for like wheat harvesters that can be used on wheat and rice, and which makes it more economically viable. So that's a sort of an economic hurdle that has to be overcome. And finally, of course, there's training on using the right pesticides, because increasingly in the export markets there's higher standards and lower limits for pesticides residues. So they have to be advised on the correct use in terms of timing and the quantities. Next. So I think my other speakers have also mentioned this. I'm sure you're familiar with this. The methane emissions from rice, anaerobic respiration, and the effect of methane on the atmosphere. So we can move on to next. So this is the solution, and AWD tubes, I think Kakashi mentioned as well. You've probably been seeing this in other sessions. From our side, what I'd like to say on this is, one thing that's been changed or we're doing this year is trying to make this more digital, because you can put these tubes in and, is the farmer going to check this? Are they going to be, are they checking it when it needs to be or once it's left in? Because usually it's maybe one tube to like 4 or 5 acres. So it's, trying to put in a sensor in there, which then sends a signal through a text message or something to the farmer. And I think that would really help in sort of scaling this technology up. But essentially what this tube is doing is, ensuring that the roots are watered, and that's only the roots that need the water, and the water that's, flooded on the top of the field is unnecessary. So this is, that's the idea of the tube. Next. Yeah, so this is just a general point on, the importance of rice and agriculture within the Pakistan economy. We're going to another IMF program. We don't have enough exports. And, rice is really, this year, it's benefited from, the Indian ban. So our exports are up, but we need a lot more exports and foreign currency income. And the governments do have focus on agriculture and trying to improve that productivity. And I think especially with this sort of technology, the standards that we're talking about, sustainable practices, are also, they can contribute to SDG goals for Pakistan as well. So next. So this is the impact of the program that we've done so far. And in terms of water saving, in terms of yield improvement and income improvement for farmers. So the water saved, the calculation is roughly 25%. Of course, this can still vary, where some years we have more rain, others we have less, but this is just directly from the alternative wetting and drying. And yield improvements, I think this is, combined, and it can be actually higher. I would say this is sort of conservative, but if you have a combination of, certified seed, better, use of inputs of fertilizer, and, other practices, disease management, you can get higher than this. Income, this was an average over 3 years, but again, this is really, can be linked to sort of prices, can vary from year to year, but certainly, if you've done these practices, the output, the final product should be a much better quality product anyway, so you command higher prices in the market. I mean, there are lots of other dysfunctions within the supply chain in Pakistan, but one thing we benefit from is, of course, is the farmers directly connected with us. So there's no middleman. So we can afford to pay them a premium, not as part of the standard, but just because they produce a better quality product and it makes sense for us. Lastly, the reduction in GHG, again, this is, an indirect calculation. I think this is where people are now, a lot of people, organizations working on trying to do calculations directly of how much, GHG are we, impacting, saving, reducing through AWG tubes and other practices. So through, chamber methods and other methods. So I mean, we're also looking forward to, I think, so we can be more, we need more granularity, more precision on these calculations as well. Next. So, so this is just an overall, I think, on how to scale up these practices. I think, there is this approach where the government has been supporting mechanization, and I think there's probably plans going forward as well, because that's one of the key things. If we're talking about, biomass management, that's really, and I know that it's in my title of the presentation, but it's done indirectly through the standards. So, if you have proper rice harvesting and, that straw is actually in Pakistan, the value of that is enough to pay for that service. I mean, the demand for that, for livestock, is so much that there's not enough of it. So that in itself is just worth doing for that, beyond actually the, mitigating, the stubble burning, and actually the benefits that you get if you re-mulch it to maintain soil nutrition as well, just on its own. So it has multiple benefits. But really, the solution, the best solution is, having the right technology, mechanization for that. And I think farmers on their own, the private sector, can only bring in, second-hand machinery, which again, is second-hand. But again, there's much more awareness among exporters on the sustainable rice standard. There's been a setup. The national chapter has been set up recently. So the standard's been sort of propagated and increased. Membership is increasing. Demand side is also increasing. It's a gradual process, because obviously you do things 1 year and then we only have one crop. So you have to wait another year to see the impact of that in the following year. But certainly there's, more exporters looking at this sort of cluster approach where they're managing their supply chains and these practices within the local area. And I think this is where a role for the government and other international institutions like the ADB to come in, and how that can be supported to scale it up. Next.
Shahid, could you wrap up? Okay, here you go.
That's it. I wrapped up. So this is really just, again, just a summary of that, really the importance of the SRP practices to sort of bring all these interventions and to consolidate those on the farm. And I think, to really scale up, we need support from different institutions. Otherwise, I think there is growth, organic growth, but that could be accelerated. So thank you very much, and sorry for the break in between.
No, thank you very much, Shahid. Thank you. So we'll call you later. Please stay online. Meanwhile, I'd like to invite next. You have a question? No? Let's go, and then and let's finish it up, and we'll have Q&A session. So next, we'd like to invite Mr. Kosugi, Dr. Kosugi from Jircast and Storeps. And while we are waiting for Mr. Kosugi to come on screen and his presentation, I just want to mention that Shahid mentioned about mechanizations and using proper rice harvesters to cut the rice straw at the bottom, and which will reduce the crop field burning, because the farmers have short stubble on the field. We have that, and also other mechanization related issues discussed tomorrow. So tomorrow, starting from 9 o'clock in room 4, we will have another session. So you are all invited to come back, and please come back and attend that session. Okay, now I see Mr. Kosugi on screen. So Dr. Kosugi, please start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind introduction for me. Can you hear my voice, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I'd like to talk about the utilization of agriculture biomass, or especially oil palm biomass as an example. Mr. Yamamoto said this technology can apply the rice straw or some crop throws. So I think that's one idea for to escape the some environmental issues. So this time it's I'd like to talk about the example, which is biomass sustainable utilization through the high value added technology of the oil palm trunk. That's we call the OPT. Oil palm industry is considered to be conflict with the tropical forest. How it can coexist and benefit with the tropical forest resources. So next, please. For example, so I'd like to introduce the my national project. So we call the TASTREPS OPT project. So in 2019, so we had started the this TASTREPS project as an international collaboration research project with the Malaysia. So this project aims to transform the sustainable palm industry through the OPT utilization. Next, please. Okay, palm oil is the most widely produced and consumed oil in the world. So palm oil is quite important and essential vegetable oil that's also sustain the societies and the economies of many countries and many regions. So replacing the same amount of oil with the other crop will need 4 to 10 times amount of the agricultural land. So it is impossible to find the alternative oil crops. So however, so it is very being so much criticism. So there's a problem has a major impact of a global environmental and accelerate the develop of the new palm plantations and deforestation. So how can we improve the sustainable palm oil? Oil production and environmental protections. So the issue is how palm oil is produced. So we look for the way to create more sustainable palm plantations. So next, please. So here is we focus the oil palm trunk OPT. So this is actually OPT because it's a large amount of the biomass. It's cut down and left unused. It's about the 10-meter high and weight is about 1 to 1.5 ton and looks like the wood. However, OPT has a commercial lifespan. All the OPTs are cut down and new trees replanted each 25 years. So it's estimated that 75 million trees cut and replanted annually. So this area is roughly twice the size of the Tokyo. The amount of the biomass is very large, estimated about 180 million dry ton. So we have focused develop technology development of the practical application, such as biopet and the particle board. Then also we have to care about the land management and the GHG emission. So next, please. Okay, this project consists of three topics. So one is a sustainable management of the oil palm plantation, because there is no scientific evidence to produce the GHG from this kind of the agricultural residues. Second is how to use this agricultural residue, such as OPT, so to apply the social implementation. So we developed the OPT utilization technology and the demonstration of the process. Then next, finally, existing the industry is just produced oil, but if we can use the this oil palm biomass. So how we can get the benefit improve the LCA. So that's all we this three thema consisted this Satoru's projects. Next, please. So this is actually plantation owners believe the OPT return will be fertilizer and nutrition. So we tested the this is really true or not. So first, we tested the corn, tomato, and soybeans crops in the soil mixed with the agricultural residue OPT fiber. So we observed the poor growth in the all cases. So we also tested the palm nursery trees. So we found they clearly had growth problems. So what's happened the OPT fiber? So with the supposed to be fertilizer, right? So soil analysis clearly indicated the increase in the fiber degrading microorganisms, practically fungi. It was also found the nitrogen and the mineral were lost from the soil due to the increase in the microorganism. This is induced the such a negative cycle. OPT fiber return the plantation or through the plantation area, so decomposing the microorganism or organisms such as fungi and the termites, so takes away nutrients from the soil. There's a problem related to apply the more fertilizers. So next, please. This is also we get the evidence if when OPT fiber left on the plantation area, so they produce the methane gas through the termite. Yeah, there's so many nests of the termite in the plantation area. So next, please. So we also measure that GHG GHG production in the laboratory scale. So we put in the fiber and the soil and sometimes methane bacteria. So we keep the 37 degrees Celsius. Then we measure that the CO2 and the methane gas, their generations. So you can see we estimated 1.3 GHG per 1 OPT trunk. So this this is based on this calculation. However, for example, if 1.3 tons GHG are emitted from the OPT, Malaysia, Indonesia will be so emitted about the 300 million ton GHG per year. This is equivalent to reduction in the Japan's draft COP 21 committed. So next, please. Next, please. To utilize this biomass, so we developed the OPT commercializer demonstration pilot plant in Kluang in Malaysia. So now, this pilot plant is working. Then produce the biopellet from the OPT and palm biomass. So next, please. OPT is so very unique properties. So OPT, it's not, looks like a tree, but it's not tree because they have a very high moisture content. So such as this yellow sap. So this OPT is composed the parenchyma and the vascular bundle. Then also contain the starch and the mineral. So next, please. So that's why, to produce the high quality biopellets, so we like to special process washing and milling and pelletizing. So then of course we use the water because of biomass washing after washing to remove the mineral especially. Potassium, natrium. So that's wastewater also produce the biogas. Then to use the this power generations for the this pilot plant process. Then also water is the recycler. So then finally, we also produce the liquid fertilizer, then back to the plantation areas. So next, please. Yeah. This is summarize the this OPT our concept. So this all of them biomass converted the carbon neutral pellet and also some sap or wastewater produce the biogas and bioplastic. Then also produce the liquid fertilizer. Then back the plantation. So next, please. Yeah, we also use the not only that the OPT, but also EFB, empty fruit bunch, and OPF is also frond of OPTs, and this palm fruits fiber. So same process, can apply the to produce the this kind of the pellet. Then not only that this pellet, but also, for example, sorghum and rice straw. So we already try to do the get some evidence to produce the this kind of this biopellet through the this our Kluang pilot plant process.
Kosugi-san, could you wrap up?
Okay. Next, please. This is also one of the applied this pilot pellet. Next, please. Yeah, this is already sell the furniture. So next is we convert the this process to the Sarawak. If more information, please visit here. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to see many activities by the private sectors. Now we had 4 presentations. Now we have the last one. I'd like to invite Mr. Shohei Takeuchi from Ajinomoto. He's a senior manager. So far, we have had not only this session, other sessions, and greenhouse gas emission coming from rice and other crops, and what to do is it. But another big emitter or source of greenhouse gas from agriculture is livestock. So from livestock, methane comes out from digestive system. However, we haven't had clear methodologies to reduce methane gas from livestock. And now I'm very happy to have a presentation by Mr. Takeuchi. Mr. Takeuchi, you are on the screen. Please start your presentation.
Okay, thank you for your introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for giving me such kind of the precious opportunity. My name is Shohei Takeuchi. So as presented introduction, when raising the dairy cow and the beef cattle, various greenhouse gases are generated, including the feed material procurement and the methane from barb and the nitrous oxide from manure, and which account the 9.5% of the total emission. So it is extremely large and is considered to be one of the cause of the global warming. So today I'd like to introduce our Ajinomoto solution to reduce greenhouse gases derived from dairy and beef cattle. So next, please. So firstly, I'd like to introduce my company, Ajinomoto. Ajinomoto is one of the biggest amino acid and food company. And as you can see, Ajinomoto was founded in 1999 and is now over 110 years old. And our core is amino acid technology. And with using the amino acid as a source, we are expanding our businesses. And we are providing the amino acid not only for human, but also for animal, especially dairy and beef cattle. And we have the highest quality product, AjiPro-L, that is a lumen-protect lysine to make best nutritional balance of the feed for dairy and beef cattle. And AjiPro-L is a core product for our solution to reduce greenhouse gases. So from next slide, I'd like to introduce more detail about our solution. So next slide, please. First, let us explain our flagship product, AjiPro-L. So firstly, amino acid is the base of the protein. So in order to maximize the performance to produce a good quality of the protein in dairy and beef cattle, it is necessary to add sufficient amino acid by feed. And the lysine, that is one of the essential amino acid, is known to be the most deficient amino acid in cattle. But the ordinary lysine is broken down in the lumen of the cattle. However, we Ajinomoto developed special granulation technology, and our product AjiPro-L delivers lysine into the body most efficiently in the world. We have a lot of the scientific data, and this scientific data proves that our product can solve many problems to achieve sustainable dairy farming. And one of the effects is the greenhouse gas reduction with the feed cost reduction. So next slide, please. And our GHG reduction approach is to optimize the nutritional balance of the feed, essentially the amino acid balance. There are two ways to make balance of the amino acid in feed. The one is unlocking limiting amino acid with addition of the AjiPro-L as a lysine source. And this method enables to increase productivity and reduce days of the operation, resulting in the decrease all type of the greenhouse gas emission, including the methane. And the other way is reducing the surplus amino acid by reduction natural protein with AjiPro-L addition. This method to decrease nitrous oxide from manure while maintaining the productivity. And with our trial data, as you can see, methane reduction by 10%, nitrous oxide reduction from manure by 25%, and the carbon dioxide reduction from feed ingredient sourcing by 20%. In addition, 0.3 dollar per cow per head cost reduction by our solution can be achieved while reducing the greenhouse gas emission. This is a very unique feature of our solution because costs tend to rise when trying to reduce the environment impact. And so this enable to how can I say, absorb the additional cost. And methane reduction additive is one of the good examples of the cost increase to reduce the environment impact. But by our solution, additional cost to implement new solutions such as a methane reduction additive can be absorbed. So therefore, it becomes much easier to introduce such kind of the new technology or method. Furthermore, our method registered in Japanese carbon credit system called J-credit, making it possible to convert the amount of the reduction into the economic value or obtain external certification. So next slide, please. In fact, we have already started a collaboration with the Meiji Group, which is one of the largest dairy manufacturers in Japan, to build a business model that utilizes the J-credit system to reduce the greenhouse gas emission and create economic value in the dairy industry. I would like to explain a little bit about this model. Firstly, Meiji Group attracts a farmer which supply raw milk to them to the project. And we, as Ajinomoto, will sell our product AjiPro-L to Meiji Group, and the Meiji Group will provide the material, including the AjiPro-L, to their contract dairy farmer. And this allows dairy farmer to reduce not only greenhouse gas, but also the feed cost, as I mentioned. And in addition, using the J-credit system, we, as Ajinomoto, will process the conversion of the greenhouse gas reduction into the credit on behalf of the dairy farmer or Meiji Group. And the credit is sold in the Meiji, and the credit offset by Meiji Group emission. And on the other hand, the consideration for the credit is paid to the farmer by Meiji Group as an incentive of this initiative for reduction of the greenhouse gases. Therefore, farmers get credit incentive in addition to the feed cost reduction. And this cost reduction and credit incentive could be motivation to join the project. And this model is for dairy cattle, but also, of course, we can apply to the beef cattle. And the next slide, please. And regarding the beef cattle, we have also begun a collaboration with the Japanese local government called Kagoshima Prefecture. Kagoshima Prefecture had the largest number of the beef cattle in Japan at 340,000 head of the cow. And the Kagoshima Prefecture will promote the introduction of our solution to reduce their greenhouse gas emission. Similar to the initiative with the Meiji Group, as I explained in the previous slide, this initiative is also considering the usage of the J-credit to convert the greenhouse gas emission into the economic value. And in this initiative, the greenhouse credit will be used to offset the emission of the local company into the Kagoshima Prefecture. And we think that we can expand our business model all over the world with using not only the J-credit, but also JCM scheme or voluntary carbon credits such as VCS or gold standard. So next slide, please. So this is the final slide, but we would like to have our Ajinomoto solution adapted and work with the government or dairy industry and the meat industry or manufacturer to advance the climate change action. If you have any interest in our solution, please let us know. We are looking forward to working with you to build a sustainable food system. So next slide, please. Yes, this is our contact. So if you have interest in our solution, please let us know. Thank you for your attention. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I know you have many questions. We have about 10 minutes or so. So does anyone have a question first? No? Can I just ask then, Takeuchi-san? So I've studied and I understand rice side of how to reduce methane gas from it. But from a livestock side, it is, I don't know much. And then probably the people in the audience also can benefit. Could you explain the mechanism? How does amino acid included in the feed given to the cattle reduce the methane emission from their stomach in an easy way? If it's possible.
Thank you for your question. Firstly, amino acid itself don't have the effect to reduce the methane emission itself from above. But as I mentioned, amino acid have the effect to increase the productivity, especially beef cattle. And in this sense, with this effect, farmer can reduce the day of the operation to get the same amount of the beef amount. So it means that this reduction day can contribute to reduce greenhouse gas emission, including the methane, because they don't need to breed the beef cattle in this duration. So that is the mechanism or effect of our amino acid to reduce methane from beef.
Okay, so that means that the cattle consume less amount of food, that leads to less amount of methane coming from them.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions from that? And if I can asking it, how much is it? Additional cost? Providing supplement, right? So the supplement cost, and then how much is the cost? And if you can.
Well, that is a question for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the livestock, yeah.
For the livestock,
additional cost of the supplement.
We don't need to pay the additional cost because decrease of the increase of productivity can contribute to reduce the whole feed cost.
Okay.
So it means that this whole feed cost reduction can absorb the cost increase of the or additional cost of our supplement. So farmer can achieve the usage of our product without cost increase or with cost decrease.
Okay, so net income is positive.
Net income or net profit can be increased with using our product or our solution.
Okay, great, thank you. From the panel presenters online, do you have questions to each other or any comments, additional comment that you want to make? No? How about, yeah, please come to the mic.
Good afternoon, Anton Palo from Food Link Advocacy Cooperative. My question will be to Mike. So I'm actually happy to hear that Yara is promoting regenerative agriculture. And but just for my, out of curiosity, looking at how does that translate down to the more direct contact points with the smallholder farmers, perhaps? I understand that if you're going to try to control the usage of fertilizers because you want to prevent over-fertilization, that will also reduce the sales and revenues of your salespeople. How does that? What's the incentive or motivation now for your salespeople to actually promote that? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, we have to take the balance. We would like also to help the environment. The ambition of Yara is to to have a nature-positive food future. Yes, it could really impact the sales, but at the end of the day, it's the sustainability that we're looking at. And yeah, as mentioned earlier, the challenge is that there are barriers in this actually. The barriers and the farmers actually, the access to knowledge, technology, finance, market, that we have to address. But going back to your question, it's still the sustainability at the end of the day. And that's the ambition of Yara, nature-positive food future. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions and, to the presenter? So if not, I know, thank you. So, but online presenters, please remain online. We will have a group photo. But before we close, I would like to ask my colleague, Noriko Sato, to give the final comments.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, my name is Noriko Sato. I'm a senior natural resource specialist. I'm in the operation side. So, I'm the one of the officers who will prepare the new investment project in ABB. I have been working for Pakistan, Shahid, et al. So we have been working together because you already maybe you are aware. So ADB is we are encouraged to include the private sector to our project more efficient to respond to the climate change impact. So to increase our efficiency. So it is very much necessary to involve the private sector into our even the sovereign operation project side as much as possible. So this is the reason that I really like this kind of session, learning a lot from the private sector. So now I saw a lot of good idea today from these the presentation. And particularly the private sector's entity. So now I can start to think how we can incorporate some of those technology in the upcoming our investment project. Even in Pakistan, even our other countries, we can talk to other colleagues also. So idea and knowledge, innovation, we need to learn from private sector. So private sector is really, to me, sometimes it's really amazing. So they are quite ahead, the way of thinking is completely different. Yesterday we are also talking, usually our way of thinking is very traditional, but I was told by a couple of my young colleagues that I have to change this mind completely. So now learn from the private sector's people completely, learn from a different way of thinking to how to prepare the better, good project for the future benefit. So I really thank for all this presenter and the presentation, and then also we really thank for all the participants who stay with us at the end of the day. So I hope we can continue to work together and then continue to learn together. Perhaps, after some time, ADB may organize a similar kind of workshop, or we may also organize a similar kind of workshop for continuous discussion. So we request you to come back to discuss with us again, and then again, thank you very much for all these panelists who provided us a lot of interesting idea and innovation. Thank you very much. Over to you.